Huh?
How young are you?
65.
All right, well, you remember the days, I think we were talking about by Cyrus area, you go down 12th Street, all the manufacturing and that.
From Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
You like that tune, John?
I love that song. I love it. It's on my iPod.
I'm trying to get another one, though.
Are you?
Yeah, we got to get something a little...
Little update. But people know that song. When they hear that song, they perk right
They'll
up.
get used to the new one. We'll get something with a little gusto in there.
It's a period of adjustment. You know how it is.
But Erie adapts to change once in a while.
Slowly but surely.
So we'll introduce ourselves again. I'm Kaz Kwiatkowski, City Controller, my good friend, sidekick.
I'm John Steiner. I'm not with the Perry 200 anymore, but that's over. But I am the new Director of Operations for the new Mill Creek Township Joy Center, which is the largest senior citizen center in Erie County now.
And we have a guest.
Yes, we do.
Guest is John Schubert, been a citizen of Erie most of my life, since about age 4.
As I've always said, we're open to anybody who wants to come on here and talk about anything they want. As usual, the rules, John, you know the rules.
I know.
Yeah, any subject is a game. You can talk about anything you want. All we ask is that you keep it a little bit in bounds of good taste. And try not to get too personal, and we'll be okay. However, it is Taxpayers Hotline, and it is your show.
And as you can, like you've said before, Kaz, anybody can come on the show, any citizen, the door is open to anybody, and this gentleman took us up on our offer.
Right, so anybody else, if they want to rebut him, they're allowed equal time too.
That's right. I mean, that's a good thing that we're getting the word out. People in the community are interested in what's going on this show finally.
So until we get some phone calls, I guess, as a, it'll get them bring.
Yeah, when we talk, we got to talk in the microphone. Some of the folks they're hard of hearing out there a little bit, so.
They expressed an interest in getting the citizens aspect out about the McBride Viaduct.
Right.
And-
Have they made a final decision?
I think they pretty much have.
So it looks like the final decision is pretty much,
I mean, they're I would say, wouldn't you, that they're such,
Well, nothing has been firmly approved, formally or that.
but the machinery's sure in motion, right?
The machinery is in motion that this outside firm that come in, that we want to look at, they've only been here several days each year out of the last 3 years, and they're going to be telling us how it's better for us. It's kind of like years ago when I was working, when the company would come out and give you a new piece of equipment, they'd say, here, this is going to make your job easier, instead of actually asking the citizens.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, every meeting that we've had on the McBride Viaduct, the CAC committee, as well as the public, have been 90-some% in favor of it. Quite frankly, the only ones that have not been in favor is the citizens, or the city,
correct.
from day one.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Cass, a long time.
Yes, what's up?
Hey, look at your cable bill now.
What about it?
They add a credit charge on your cable bill now.
A credit charge?
Yeah. Of $12.50.
What do they call it?
A credit and one-time charge.
Huh.
We'll have to find out what that is. That might be something to do with the new contract.
And my tax and franchise fee went up to $12 a month.
Your cable bill?
Yes.
Well, Lloyd, that's going to be the problem with cable. Nobody can control them, not even the city. They can do whatever they want. They're a private business.
And they're kind of like the water authority and the convention authority.
Yeah.
They're autonomous. They do what they want.
Well,
they can charge what they want because they're the only show in town.
And let's be realistic. Even if the city gets a cut of their profits, from the franchise fee, you know where that's coming from.
Yeah.
Businesses never absorb that loss.
No, that's probably the $12 fee Lloyd's talking about. That's the,
Probably is, yeah. Yeah, Lloyd, you got choices, not many, but
there's satellite, just DirecTV and
Ain't that good either.
soon to come cable. I think. Computers will be next. You'll be able to stream, I think.
You know what? On the telephone company sent me a thing. They wanted me to go on, the telephone
Yeah.
or cable. But when I checked the price out, there was higher than Time Warner was.
There was a time long, long ago in the empire far away when TV was free. We bought our gas at a gas station and we bought our milk at convenience stores.
All right.
Now we buy our milk at gas stations, we get our gas at convenience stores, and TV and water we pay for.
Yeah.
What happened, Lloyd? I don't know, but
I don't know either. I thought their paychecks ain't going up.
yeah, that's true. Only thing I can tell you, Lloyd, is I'm going to take a serious look at my cable because they've made a couple of switches and channels that I'm not too happy with, and I can't get the other channel I need. It's a soccer channel. They took it off the one channel, put it on another, but we don't have the other channel that's available that you can use your computer.
Right.
So now you know.
Well, another thing I saw that,
One,
go ahead, Lloyd.
American One Cable, now it's something in the city, Sports Network or something. They repeat all these soccer games and basketball and hockey.
Yeah, the one I want though is called NBC.
NBC Sports.
Yeah, but it's NBC3 or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. They show all the soccer on.
Yeah, I got all that soccer plus channel. I could watch my favorite team playing. Now I can't.
Oh, you're on 38th and Pine.
Yes.
It is going to become a country fair.
Is that what they told you?
Yes.
I've been trying to find out. Some woman asked me last week. I think it was a lady or a gentleman. I'm trying to remember now, but I honestly couldn't find out.
And neither refinery owned a property.
Well, I know they own it. Where'd you find that out, though?
Waiting at Arby's.
Oh, there must be a lot of. But I hope that ain't the same rumor that the. You ready for this, Lloyd?
Yeah.
For a year and a half, we were told the Cheesecake Factory was coming to the Burlington Coat Factory at the mall.
What going in there now?
I think it's still empty.
Still vacant.
Yeah, you got to be careful about rumors, but it would make sense because Keystone still owns that.
See, I don't know why, when you think about Country Fair, there's a Country Fair right up the road.
Well, they would close that.
They would close the Pine Avenue.
That was always the
Grandview.
The intent was if they open up that one, Grandview would get closed, and then the one way out by the Route 8,
Right.
that one was going to be switched to the other side of the road.
Oh, on the other side of 90?
Yeah, no, the other side.
Oh, where that area is right there?
Yeah, they do studies, and they claim that, how you
There
enter,
used to be a gas station right across the
Yeah.
street from there.
they claim that's better for them than.
Moron or something, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
I think all the wells are still in the ground.
That old church on 38th Street.
That would be good if that's,
Which one's that?
I saw a vacuum cleaner place going in there.
On 38th Street, and 30th and where?
I can't remember. It was some old church.
Somebody's going in there?
Yeah. I saw the vacuum cleaner place.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, next to the library.
Yes.
Yeah, that's, it's not Hoover. Yaples, right.
Yaples Vacuum is.
Yeah, well, just there, my wife was,
Wesleyville up to 38th Street there. He sold the building to Napa.
oh, that's
One
what,
that's out at the Eastway Plaza. My understanding is they're moving in there.
my wife's happy.
so
Yeah.
businesses are moving into the city. I like this.
You'll get a lot of business. My wife blows belts all the time on these vacuum cleaners.
They got the business that moved downtown into the Old El Press, correct?
Well, they do a lot of business with us.
Right. Well, hey, and as long as they move in the city and pay taxes.
I'm after Joe's Crab Shack for down at the Bayfront.
Put it by the GA, put it on the East Pier out there.
Actually, I want to get more stuff. When this gentleman and I get warmed up, we want more things on the east side.
Yeah, okay, I'll get off so somebody else can call in, Cass.
Okay, Lloyd, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yes. All right, bye.
Sir, are you involved with the action committee over there, or what is your
With
your
the,
role?
CAC committee.
Okay. And what were the findings of your committee? I mean, what were the?
Quite frankly, the findings of the committee were 90-some% in favor of rebuilding or replacing the bridge. The only reason I personally feel that a new bridge is, why put it in, say, 25, 35 years from now? Why put it in hands of somebody else again, whereas it would just be a few million more? We're talking a brand-new bridge is in the range of about $13 million. What they did, they inflated the thing over a period, this firm pushed it to 100 years, how much it would cost. But as I mentioned the other day at the meeting, there's not any project that I've ever seen that's come out where we projected, well, City Hall is going to cost X number of dollars. No one knows what the projected cost would be. But they're throwing a figure around of $25 million, and it's not $25 million. In fact, even if you took the high figure, the $25 million, it would be less than 10 cents a person a year. And that's counting only 65,000 taxpayers, and there's more than that in Erie. But the key thing of it is, we're hurting the east side. You go down East Avenue. East Avenue is totally dead. And why would you want to open up a business where the road is running over here, the bayfront? The people don't drive over, but when they're going by and they see businesses, they stop. It's the same thing with any of us.
I can remember when the discussion was whether to move East High School.
Yeah.
Or keep it there. They said it was necessary to maintain the neighborhood, even though the numbers showed the school really should have been like in southeast Erie.
Right.
You know, because that's where, you know, your population was. However, after the school was built, and I was on the school board at the time, you had to admit that for a short time, you know, you know, with the improvements they did around, you know, with the curve in the road,
Right.
and all that, and for a while there, it was pretty vibrant down there. You had the various restaurants and banks and the tavern and all
But at
that.
that time, if you remember, Kaz, the bridge was open.
Yes, it was.
And the point of it is, with the bridge, when you have over 4,000 cars a day, and still the bayfront is still there, and you still have over 4,000 cars a day going over that bridge, that tells you something that, you know, all of a sudden now, all the bayfront is now trying to pick up that traffic, and in doing so, there's a lot of congestion, not only at the bayfront there, but also up on Buffalo Road. Broad Street is terrible.
Yeah, a lot of your people on the road just go straight through now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I remember reading theories about when you put an interstate inside of a city, you cul-de-sac everything, and that's what happened in Erie. You know,
Well, what happened to your secondary roads with all your motels and that? They all died. When they put the interstate system in, they all
and
died.
we got a lot of cul-de-sacs now where the bayfront comes in.
Right.
So you dead end those neighborhoods. When you dead end something, I think, you know,
It's not good because.
yeah, I don't know,
again,
bad things do
it's-
happen.
It's the same thing, Sean Wiley here a while back.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, I'm just calling to ask a question. This new Erie Insurance Arena,
Yes?
it's beautiful. Why didn't they have the car ramp finished before they started having events over there?
Oh, because that's a private parking ramp.
That's through Erie Insurance.
Yeah,
That really
that's
didn't
not-
have
that's
anything
nothing
to
to do with the
do.
arena, ma'am. That's.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, well, what's going to happen is, and I don't speak for Erie Insurance, the way I understand it is primarily that's for their employees. But
Oh, I see.
Right, but at night, they will allow the Civic Center, mainly probably because their name's on the building. I think they're going to probably allow the Civic Center, and I don't know who's going to get the money or how it's going to work. They may have some kind of deal worked out, but I think they will make, from my understanding, it will be available to the public.
It will be.
I was just wondering because
Yeah.
I thought they had that big concert and my goodness.
Well, you know what happened, ma'am? I used to work for the Parking Authority.
Huh?
What happened was if you had only that concert, you'd have been okay. But you had multiple events going on,
Yes, the Warner Theater was full.
right? And when that goes on, like that, for instance, that parking ramp that's at 10th, over there at 10th and French, that's usually empty, you know, and now it gets filled when you know, people start filling up the other ones, and I'm not sure if they keep the other one open on 8th Street.
I don't know, but I thought that was part of the arena.
No, it was, it probably, they're gonna, I think they're gonna allow it to be used with it, but that was really their own private development. In fact, if you go there now, on the north side of the building, they're building another building, which is gonna be what they call a classroom, where their agents are gonna be able to study car crashes. They're gonna bring cars in and wreck them.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Well, yeah, then their agents are gonna sit above and look down and analyze and learn how to, what do you call it, when you bring your car in for an estimate? This is what they told us, it's going to be a classroom attached to the north side, so.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, they're going to do a lot of, they're going to do a lot of nice things for that side of town.
Well, that's good, because it's right outside my back door.
And you know what? They pay taxes and they hire people. That's the one nice.
It's going to be open for events at the Warner Theater as well, so not just the Civic Center.
Yeah.
So any event that is open downtown, they're staffing it, and the convention center is also providing
thank you, ma'am.
staff too.
Yeah, when I used to work there, they, for instance, the Civic Center owned where the ballpark was, but they didn't want to manage it, so they let the parking authority run the parking lot. We plowed it. We took so much of the cut out of the parking to pay the people that, worked there and cleaned it and all that, and then they got a little cut. But
Right.
it's the biggest parking ramp in Erie.
Well, the arenas, you toured it, right? It's
Yeah.
beautiful inside, isn't it? I tell you, they've done a really nice job on it. The luxury suites are nice. The ice surface is nice. The seats are beautiful. You can tell by looking at it how much more space that you have.
I just wish we would have had some of the stuff that was cut out. I would have liked to seen a sports bar in there.
I think they have some type of a overlooking tavern or something
Yeah,
on
but you got to pay, I think, to get up there. I think it's like
$150 to get into the.
No, just to get I don't want to speak out of turn now because I'll get a
Right.
call. The way I understood it was you have to pay $150, and then you have to buy your tickets up there. You get the $150 is like a license.
Oh, like a PSL, like they
So
did
if you
it.
want to take your wife up there for a special night,
Right. Now you have to have reservations, kind of.
go ahead, caller.
This is for Kaz. A question for Kaz.
Yes, go ahead.
Could you tell me who receives a Purple Heart? What veterans, do they have to be killed during the war or what?
To get a Purple Heart, you automatically get it if you get killed. But if you get wounds caused by the enemy during a conflict, you will get the Purple Heart. It's not for, the truck runs you over in the parking lot.
Oh, no, I know,
Yeah,
but
it's
I mean, I don't know, we had a discussion here and we were debating how do you get the Purple Heart? Because my uncle was killed in the Second World War.
Yeah, he should have had one. I'll tell you, check that out. If you need help, you can call my office.
Okay.
I'll give you. You go over to the county courthouse over there, and go to Veterans Affairs. If they filed his paperwork, which they usually do.
We had a discussion here, and I said, well, I don't know if you have to be killed in combat or during wartime or what.
Killed or wounded during time of conflict, and the wound has to be caused, generally by the enemy. And, there's sometimes that they waive certain things, but that's a general rule. But if you want to call me off the air, sometime I can explain it to you. I can tell you if you got his 214, that's his discharge paper.
Yeah.
Even though he was killed in action, he still should have had
Well, we were going through my mother's things because my uncle was killed.
Yeah, and if you didn't get it, I got the paperwork for you to get one.
All righty.
Yeah, you should have one if you don't have it. It's something that I think, the family would like.
All righty then. And you want me to go to the courthouse, right?
Well, yeah, they would have, if they have any record on them, that would be the place. And if they don't, I think the lady over there can probably help you. There is a form that you can file to get his 214 and, the wards that he was due.
My grandmother's a Gold Star mother too, so
Right.
I don't know. All righty, thank you for your information.
Was he killed in World War II?
Yes.
Oh.
1945?
Right.
Right. So he was killed in Germany. In a tank, getting out of a tank.
He should have a 214.
If he has a 214, it might even show on there whether he got that.
Yeah, if it was updated. If not, you can write and they will tell you.
All righty.
Yeah, if you need any help, I'll be glad to help you, because I've done it for other people.
All righty, thank you.
Sorry for your loss. He was a great hero, I know that.
Yeah. All righty, thank you.
That late in the war, they probably were, it almost probably was a Battle of the Bulge or
Yeah.
the Rhineland offensive.
Yeah, my uncle, Dr. Zim, he had his feet froze over there. In
Really?
Germany, and he had to get special shoes in that worn. And
A frostbite.
Boy,
Yeah.
those guys suffered over there.
Have you guys talked about recently about is it the CRIZ zone down on the waterfront down there? Have you guys touched?
Yeah, the mayor has talked a little bit about it.
What do you think about that, Kaz, on that being
Well, they've
labeled a
done,
blighted property down there? What's your thoughts on that?
well, that CRIZ is not about the blighted property.
Oh, that's not.
No.
Okay, I might have them confused.
Yeah, the CRIZ is another program. It's similar to what Allentown mayor did with his town. He gutted the whole middle of the city, and he's got a huge project with an arena, hotels, office buildings, restaurants, and what it is basically is the state, this CRIZ is going to be a little different. He got a very lucrative deal. All your state taxes, your income tax, your sales tax, they get returned to you so that you can use them to pay off like bonds.
Right,
And then that's like an incentive to get businesses to move in there.
right.
And you have to, they're going to have one for the east side and the west side of the Commonwealth. And it seems like it's limited to third-class cities or lower. So if you take out Pittsburgh, which is a second-class city on the west, there's not too much left except for like Allentown. And, if we have any kind of plan, we'd probably be the city that,
And we'll have the destination area plan coming up pretty soon, within time.
I think we got to do things like that. I remember the ex-mayor, he wanted to develop around the Civic Center, have an entertainment district.
Right,
I think that makes sense if you have like restaurants and stuff. When people come in town,
right,
especially like the other night for Rascal Flats, and
right,
when TSO comes in and Elton John, a lot of people, they make it a night.
right.
Come in, especially the people outside of Erie. This is what I always
did you
notice.
see in the paper there where Junior's last laugh is changing hands?
Yeah.
And they talking about a possibility they may shut down certain months?
Shut down certain months?
Yeah. Because I guess they're tied in with the one on the Bayfront.
Yeah. It's a great place to go for comedy, but
Right. I mean, that,
Well, again, like I was stating earlier, is like Senator Wiley had indicated, he says, like with transportation, he says, we have to do this for the people, not for necessarily what we want,
Yeah.
but to make it more convenient and better for the areas.
well, you're an East Sider.
I've been an East Sider all my life.
It's hard to tell someone, and it would have been hard for me if I was a West Sider like I was, many, 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 many years ago. If I had stayed on the west side, it would have been tough for me to understand the logic of having two things close like that. But if you live on the east side, there is a great difference. Even though the roads are technically pretty close, there's a vast difference when I come from my house, which way I want to head to the east side, which road is better. Now,
well,
will I learn to adapt to it? Probably. Am I happy? No. I would love to have the bridge back.
well, the bridge, the businesses on East Avenue are slowly but surely dying.
I took a ride.
They were-
I took a ride the other day, John. The old Pios,
Yeah,
Empire Pizza. I said I got to have this Chicago deep dish. I said, I figured I gave him some business before once, and I liked it. But to get there was a little bit.
yeah, I mean, people, if they come down the Bayfront Highway, you're gonna blow right by East Avenue. I think that, a lot of people on the west side, I think that, with all the trouble that's going on in the city, all right, let's put it out there. All the trouble that's going on in this city, the people on the west side, they view the east side as where some of the trouble should remain. in my opinion. I don't think that they're getting the big picture, the people on the west side and, you know, the more affluent areas in the city, that if the east side goes down, this whole city goes down. Because eventually, there's not going to be anybody here to pay any taxes. So what's going to happen is everybody's nice neighborhoods, their taxes are going to go up. So you either catch it low or you pay it high. One way or the other, it's going to come back to get you. But with all the crime and all the urban decay that's going on the east side, it just seems like certain factions around the city have just forgotten the east side, especially the lower east side. You know, I grew up down on the lower east side myself. It was predominantly, you know, a Russian, Polish area, and now, I mean, those folks no longer live there. I mean, the housing stock is lower, so, you know, all the lower income people, you know, the Section 8, they're all moving into that section. A lot of them don't have disposable income to spend money there. So businesses aren't looking to relocate. And then on top of it, businesses are now looking for government handouts in order to look anywhere, and they're surely not going to look over there.
See what's happening on the east side. When I was a kid, anytime something new came on the east side, Broad Street got it, pretty much, around that area. You know, the new Kmart, I mean, the new Masons, the new Kmart, the new Grant City, that was up a little higher, but the LB's was down there and all that. Then all of a sudden, they started moving to Harbor Creek. And I remember my parish priest trying to get, he had a friend that worked for Applebee's, tried to get him to look at a couple sites on East 38th Street, where Family Video is now. And the guy goes, we've done our studies, and where did they move? Right over the line in Harbor Creek.
Well, you see that new bridge that they put out there in Harvard's Park?
Yeah.
Right. That thing there's traffic going over it all the time.
And that opens you up all the way down now.
Right.
If you'd had that bridge, I would be willing to say that mall would have never got tore down.
I
out
was
there.
just going to say that.
Yeah, it probably would have.
Plus businesses are looking to come out there now.
But now what do you got? You got the people that live in those houses? They got a perfect
senior
path
living.
up to Kmart or
Yep.
Walmart or whatever.
They have that senior living out there.
Go ahead, caller.
Talking about bridges, I went by a bridge today that's taken over 7 months and it's still not completed.
Norman Way?
I thought that was completed, John.
Pardon?
I thought they did complete that.
Glenwood Park Avenue's completed.
The road is open.
The road's open, but not the bridge yet.
The bridge isn't open. Yet you can go up on Wagner, up on Wager Road up there.
Oh, the one over there by where they built the bridge over the thruway, like? Underneath the thruway.
It's right over there by Wendy's. They put a complete new bridge in there, put turtles in the middle of the road, and paved it in like about 4 weeks.
Well, they hired that guy, Alex Guinness, or what's his name?
I don't know. You mean for which job?
The guy that whistled in the movie The Bridge on the River Kwai?
Oh, yeah?
Sir Alec, or what was his name?
I know what you're talking about.
He built that one.
But, you know, the worst thing about that McBride-Brydock, if they don't hurry up and get that down, that bridge was always a disaster even when it was new. And the gentleman over there is saying we need X amount of traffic. Well, you have your state representatives and your state government because they did not plan that properly.
No,
and that problem would have been alleviated.
Well, let me tell you this. Here's how I look at it. Tell me if I'm wrong, John, and you too. But when the whole reason why they didn't do the interchange the first time around, right?
Know how to handle that bridge.
Because they had the bridge there.
Sure, but they should have did their homework.
But you thought they would have said, well, you know, this bridge is not in good shape. We either need to renovate it, or the whole question with the interchange should have came up at that time.
That's when it should have came up.
But now all of a sudden, you know, so apparently the bridge was in their plans.
Yeah, but they didn't know how to handle it, and so they just beat it around the bush, and they figured they'd slough it off.
I mean, you know, like I took a ride down East Avenue. It's amazing how dead it was. And just, you know.
East Avenue was always dead, even when I went to East High School.
No, it wasn't that bad, John.
It wasn't that good either.
Yeah, but you know what?
Down there you had the tobacco shop, a couple of little businesses, and that was it.
Yeah, but you got nothing now.
You had nothing back then other than a fire hall.
Yeah, Barney's back then. Remember Barney's?
Yeah.
That place was always
Barney's,
P.O.'s.
couple
Clancy's,
of
wasn't
restaurants,
Clancy's done?
and
Clancy's.
mostly nighttime they were there. There
The hardware was
wasn't
down.
very much activity. They were only on Friday nights.
The hardware, well, yeah, but,
New York lunch was booming a little bit back then.
Yeah.
They had, I mean, before the whole bridge situation, I mean, the numbers were down a little bit, but not to what they are
here's
now.
the thing, John, if this was Pittsburgh, and they did do this, they built a brand-new subway to a stadium. The one stadium only gets 10 games a year, right?
Yeah.
And the other one only has 80 games a year.
True.
So let's see, 90, let's see, that's 1/4 of the year, and there may be some overlaps. So over 25% of the time, they built a I think it was in the billions, a new tunnel to put a new subway station on the other side of the river when you had the Clementi Bridge there, which everybody used to just walk over.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and if you count the number of bridges on I'm not even including the south side, along I think it's the Allegheny on the north side, how many bridges do you think you got there?
In Pittsburgh, how many bridges?
Yeah,
Well, I would venture to say there should be about 20 of them.
yeah. So, I mean,
Well, now they're
Have a
talking
couple of
about,
tunnels.
now they're talking about putting a bridge out on Millfair Road, where
Really?
where the new Walmart is. And if you look at the traffic pattern, the number of cars, they don't get the amount of traffic that the east side does.
oh, but that bridge that you're talking about, Nagel, boy, that's really picked up that side.
Oh, God, it really has helped.
Did you read that alert?
No, I'm still working on it, John. I had a little surprise this week.
Did you really?
Yeah, I had a new addition to the family,
That's wonderful.
and so I didn't do my homework like I should have.
And then you couldn't find anything out about the purchase of the $1.3 million road, or?
No, I'll get on that for you, I promise you.
Oh yeah. Well, things are booming in that town. You know, I saw an article the other day about Dahlkemper and Tucci about their claims.
Yeah?
And Dahlkemper, her claim to being the new county executive, well, she worked for a larger thing on the whole the country, and she should surely be able to handle the county exec job. And what stood out for me in that article was she said, well, we can always go get bonds. Now, who the hell pays for these bonds? The taxpayer. I mean, if that's her attitude, we're going to go get a bond for this or bond for that. It's just like the mayor Hidden getting this bond for this and bond for that for an improvement that doesn't last 25 years. The taxpayer is getting buffaloed.
Well, everybody's afraid to raise taxes, and that's the problem, you know.
The whole thing. Well, this mayor's going to find out he's going to have to raise taxes at least a full mill.
Sometimes you have to, and you have to be honest with the people what you're doing with it.
And you got to spend your surplus. And don't give me that baloney. You
What?
need surpluses for a rainy day.
Well, no, but it is prudent in any
You
business.
don't need a surplus. A county, a country should go balance to balance and not have any surplus.
Isn't it a law that you have to have a surplus of some? No, it's not.
No, you're not supposed to overspend the budget.
Yeah, well, you overspend the budget.
Well, here's
then
the thing,
what
John,
happens?
if we didn't have surpluses, early in the year, this is why the school district changed the way they do business now, changing their tax year.
I see nothing wrong with it.
Because, like in the beginning of the year, up until,
They had to borrow money.
right, every year, Joe Senate changed that when he came in, and, you know, he had my support on it because you don't want to be borrowing a short-term note, what we call the tax anticipation note. You know, that was early in the year all the time.
But that's because you don't have the water department to steal the money out of
Well,
now.
if you keep a little balance, that's always good. But not only that,
I didn't say a balance. I
You're-
said a surplus.
well, that's technically what a balance is. When when you got excess of revenue over expenses,
All right, let's say that. What are you?
there's many names for that. It's called owner's equity, income, whatever you want to call it.
What is your balance right now? Your overbalance.
I can find that out for you in a heartbeat.
Probably in excess of $4 million or more.
But you know, but John, what you don't see, the picture, that shrinks a little bit during the year and then gets rebuilt back up again. We're always one accident away from big time trouble.
Whose fault is that?
What? Well, you know what, John? It's been going on for a long time.
Well, it's like them giving away repository
It's
money,
like,
selling.
I don't want to throw stones, but the reason why the pension plan was in trouble was because people way back didn't have the foresight to do what they should have done, and now we're paying heavily for that. And even though we're taking the plan out of trouble, it's been a long haul because, like once you step into the lake, trying to empty it out with a bucket doesn't work real good.
Well, that's why when you get what you got coming this year, you're going to find out you're not a distressed city anymore, and you're not going to be getting as much money.
Well, we're still moderately distressed in
Yeah,
some
but
things.
you're not going to. Before you were getting almost 75 or 80%.
Look, here's
One of the things that you might want to take into consideration is like your own checking account. If you ran that thing down to zero and all of a sudden something come up and you had to write a check out, now you wouldn't have any reserve funds. So you do have to have a certain amount there to back you up for unknown circumstances.
You're
that do
talking
come
about
up.
that, having a reserve fund. We're getting slapped almost 40% for water, sewer, for a service charge.
Well, that actually was a backdoor tax.
That's
Instead
right.
of raising your taxes,
it was
we
like
just,
it was like the garbage fee. They couldn't
Right.
they couldn't raise the taxes back then because of the ceiling.
so they just raised the garbage fees
Oh, yeah.
and services.
I'd rather
and that.
see them raise the taxes because that's deductible from your taxes.
See, I come from your school, John, but the reality is when you're elected official, all you hear is raising my taxes, but
Well, yes, raise the taxes.
That's
Don't
where- but that's-
try to put a service charge on.
that's where you need transparency. That's where you got to say, you know what?
That's right.
Like I always tell people, if you think I'm lying, come in, I'll show you the books. I'll show you the exact numbers that we submit to the auditors and to the Commonwealth. And, you make your own mind up,
I think I can
But
guarantee.
Tullio and Savacchio, when they were mayors, they were taking the money from the water department and making a balanced budget.
Absolutely. And you know what?
To play Paul.
The problem we have now is that and I'm not trumpeting Joe, the president mayor, I'm just saying this is reality. We took a large amount of money to balance a budget under the previous administration. That's gone now. They had upfront money that was given. There's no more money coming for a few years.
From
now.
the authorities?
But the lease go out to the water department, a water authority for 25 years.
Yeah,
They're
but they-
complete idiots.
But they took an upfront payment. So now the new mayor comes in and he's strapped. I mean, he's looking at, that was designed to take a little bit of money out of the water department every year in the sewers, and when that dries up, that's the problem.
Yeah, and that was supposed to be untouchable until a solicitor said you didn't need.
Well, I can tell you, the water reserve right now, John, is approximately $9 million, and it's not being touched.
Yeah, unless they need the money.
Well, no, there's a hesitancy there. The only thing we've done is we allow a certain percentage of it to be returned to the city every year.
For capital improvement.
Right, and they must submit a list of capital improvements to us.
And 6 council people have to vote for it.
Well, that was already done once, so
Solicitor rules against it.
that was done once.
For $4 million to the convention center.
I hope that when I leave office, John, it'll be up to $10 million.
We'll never get a nickel from the convention center.
Probably not.
But, we'll see when we get our over 1% or over 1 mil raise for this year. Mark my words. Have a great day.
You too, John.
Before for the next caller, I'd like to make a couple announcements if it's okay with you.
Yeah, and I want to get back to our gentleman too.
As I mentioned earlier, the director for the new Mill Creek Senior Center.
You're what, director?
Yeah, so I just want everybody to know that this is not just for Mill Creek seniors. This is for the seniors of all of Erie County. So on the 23rd, the 25th, and the 28th, we're starting our registration. This Wednesday, the chief of police from Mill Creek is coming in to do a talk on avoiding scams and fraud facing today's seniors. We've got fitness programs, educational programs. The number one thing, we had a town hall meeting, the number one thing that senior citizens want to do is just learn the basic aspects of using a computer. So we have computer training classes. I was surprised by how many people.
Well, you shouldn't be.
Yes.
There are people out there that they look at it and they're like, Whammy, you know.
Yep. And we are opening Wednesday, October 30th with a Halloween party. So, I mean, if anybody's interested, I'll give you the number. It's 806-3876. They might have to watch it on the replay maybe and get
Can I
there.
bring my Led Zeppelin music there?
Bring your mom out there too, Kaz. You know, I think she'll have fun out there. We're going to have a bunch of different things lined up. We have, the Jefferson Educational Society's involved with us with some speakers going on out there. We're speaking with the folks from Sean Wiley's office that you mentioned. That's funny that you mentioned his name, and Ryan Bizzaro out there. Phil Fatika, all of them guys are on board with what's going on out there. It's a 20,000 square foot building. I mean, we have a billiards room, we have a little mini library.
It's the old,
It's right
post
next.
office, right?
It's 2709 Legion Road. It's right next door to the post office in that same complex there. It's going to be something else. We have a billiards room, we have a computer lab, and we have a humongous auditorium.
Got to get a Wii in there, John.
We have a Wii.
Ooh.
We have a Wii.
Go ahead, caller. Hello?
Go ahead. They must have hung up. We had a town hall meeting to discuss what they wanted there. 300 people showed up. It was crazy. And, we just had a lot of different, they want to do some stretching, some minor low intense fitness programs. They wanted some nutrition. We're going to do the heart, blood pressure, cholesterol, all that kind of good stuff.
Well, go ahead, caller. Uh-oh. Wonder who it is.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, the 23rd, that from 10 o'clock till 3 o'clock on the 23rd, the 25th, and the 28th. And like I said, you don't have to be a Mill Creek resident. This is a community asset. People from all over Erie County can join.
When I reach that age, I'll consider it.
You're at that age. What do you mean reach that?
I don't know how old I am. Go ahead, Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, somebody's just...
It's Halloween early, as Mario used to say.
Kids off school today? I think some of them are.
Are they?
I think prep's off today.
Well, at least they're watching a good show.
Hey, that's what this kind gentleman was nice enough to stop. He's got a lot of good input.
We got to get them going again, though.
Yeah, what do you want? Anything else you want to?
Well, the only other thing I was going to say just briefly is the young students, for example, out in Edinburgh, we were talking a bit earlier, is what you should be protesting on is the fact that American jobs and factories should be brought back into this country. What's happening now is the reason you're losing teachers and you're losing courses is because without the American jobs being available in this country, the tax base is just going bizarre. So you kids, I understand where you're coming from in that, but back in our day, in the 70s and 80s, there was manufacturing all over this place. And you have to convince the American, if you have to protest across the country, that's what you kids should be working on, is trying to get these American companies back here in this country producing. Because again, without jobs, even when you graduate, if you don't have a job, there's not available. What good is the education?
Well, that's what, now that we ship all our jobs to China, now, everybody wants to get a $300 40-inch, flat screen. So now we have no manufacturing jobs. The middle class is disappearing, and we started talking about it earlier. Right down here, we have on the waterfront there, where where the port, where they want to put the port, they want to make it a blighted area.
Yeah.
All these companies, even with the East Inlet, they're talking about developing. All these companies, people are mad about people and complain about people on the access card. Corporate welfare is even worse.
Yeah.
Nowadays. All those guys want to do is wait. They're just waiting us out for us to, just to create the government subsidies for the handouts, and then they'll come in, take advantage of what they can get for free,
And then leave.
and then pack their stuff and hit the road. And that's where it's got to stop. He's right. I mean, not only that, you ship all our jobs to China, okay? Now, everybody in China has to drive to work to produce our products. So what does that do? The law of supply and demand with gas. Now, instead of we're like, when it's $3.20 a gallon, we're like, ooh, wow, great, it's only $3.20. That's ridiculous. I mean, not only have we ruined the middle class, we've drove up the price of energy, and now the government has to subsidize everybody's business or they won't come here. That doesn't make any sense.
What's even worse yet is we're borrowing money from China
Yeah.
to give to other countries. Why doesn't China, for example, just give them the money instead of us?
Because we'll pay it back.
You know?
At least they think we'll pay
Right,
it back.
Exactly.
Go ahead, caller.
One answer to all those questions about job overseas.
What's that?
NAFTA, WTO, is that enough?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking the other day we were talking about Meadville with some person. And we were talking about how Meadville was well, first the talk was around Bradford. They had Zippo Lighter, the oil industry, Oil City had oil, Titusville had oil or related products, And then you had Meadville, you had PPG, you had the Tellon Zipper plant, one of the best.
In Bradford, you had Zippo and
Yeah.
Case knives.
I mean, they're still making it there, but
Case knives are no longer made in Bradford.
oh, they're not?
No, China will be making them.
China.
Nobody wanted to pick it up.
But Tellon Zipper, you think about that, they were the finest I remember when I was in the Army, I used to look at my zipper, I'd say, look, that was made 40 miles, 50 miles south of Erie.
Yeah, but that's when you had brass teeth.
Yeah, now then the YKK came out, the Chinese one, I think it was.
Well, John, you talked about NAFTA. I think that it's important that NAFTA.
Bill Clinton.
It's important that we honor those agreements. I'll tell you why. In our hemisphere, we need to keep Canada and we need to keep Mexico
That's right.
and South
We've
America.
got to keep it here and make all these big companies that move overseas take it to the hilt. Make them tax them to no end.
We need, and if we keep Mexico, I mean, granted, I hate to see the jobs leave, but I'd rather see them go to Mexico than to China, because the better Mexico is, the less chance that people are going to want to immigrate into our country, and that creates that whole immigration problems.
There are Hershey's being made now, don't you? Hershey bars?
No.
Mexico.
Yeah, a portion of it.
I mean, you hate to see anything moved anywhere, but I'd rather keep it in our hemisphere, to keep our hemisphere strong, keep those countries strong where those leaders are in power, because we don't want some of that garbage that's going on in the other hemisphere moving to our hemisphere.
That's true.
And
I heard Senator Toomey this morning say that wealthy Americans should be paying their fair share of this new health care. And I didn't get a chance to ask him what he thought was a wealthy American.
Yeah, the middle class is disappearing. Our country's in trouble. It's in trouble.
They talk out of both sides of their mouth, and they're talking about these hybrid cars and everything else. Who can afford them but politicians?
I think it costs more to drive a hybrid car than it does a regular car, from what I've been told.
Knox Air has just submitted zoning to get a pumping station for natural gas. And years ago, we used to run vehicles on natural gas and gasoline.
How about we sit on the largest suppository in the history of the world regarding natural gas, and I think I just heard on the news we're getting a 12% increase on the gas bills this year, going up. They're raising prices of natural gas.
Texas here and shipping our gas out so they can make the money on it.
How are we getting charged with that? We have the largest collection of gas in the world, and our gas bills are going up.
John, it's like those gas trucks that come here to Erie, right?
Right.
Now, they come from Warren.
Right.
Come from Warren and Youngstown.
Right. Well, let's take the ones from Warren, okay? If they come from Warren, what do they hit first, the east side or the west side?
If they come from Warren,
I'd say
you're talking
east.
about Country Fair or Shell? It's all United Refinery.
Well, I mean, here's my point. I used to laugh how the west side was cheaper than the east side. And I'd say, well, wait a minute. Now, the trucks have to go further to get to the west side. Not much, but...
Right.
Yeah. Right? So, I mean, nothing ever makes sense, John. It's like
Buy
all
gas
that...
in Warren?
All that fracking down there, and we don't get a dime of it at all. They
That
gave
makes
it
no
away.
sense. And when I saw that they're raising the price for the gas bills, Michael, I'm like, what is?
I think gas is higher than Warren. I went through there one day.
You know, we just went down to Sharon over the weekend. Sharon is actually 20 cents more a gallon down in Sharon
Than
than
Erie?
it is up in Erie.
It's true.
Shocked.
Yeah, Warren, I think, is higher too at times. You know,
Would be, I haven't been over to
Where
Warren.
it's refined, you pay more.
yeah, figured that one out, right?
Don't have too far to transfer it, so.
I'll tell you what is the worst, is the Pennsylvania Utility Commission. I mean, those people, I mean, they are worthless. I mean, they're talking about a worthless group of people. What do they do for us?
They got a big giant stamp. They rolled it out.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I mean, it's like they ask for 12, but they really only want maybe an 8 or 5%. It's what they want, but they ask for 12, and they're like, no way, we're not giving you 12, we'll give you 8. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll settle for that. When that's what they wanted in the first place.
Hey, John.
I don't get it. I mean, it's like, I couldn't believe it. So anyways,
Let's get back to the bridge.
let's get back to the bridge.
Well, again, the bridge, quite frankly, I've never, ever seen as many people turn out for not only the regular meetings with the CAC, but again, the things that we told that company, it just went over their heads. They wrote it down, but somehow or other, they had their own opinion.
I had some complaints about, and I did tell them to the PennDOT guy that night, there were some things in that plan I didn't like about the interchange.
No.
You know, like that truck driver, he had a very good comment about, you're not going to be able to make a 45-degree turn.
Well, when you go
And
down
not
there,
sway.
we measured that if you get more than, say, 2 trucks, you can't make the turn. You're actually holding up traffic.
Yeah.
And right there where they want to put the interchange, you have a grade going up there in the wintertime. You know what grades are
Yep.
here in the city. It's going to be a nightmare trying to get in. One of the things about building a new bridge or even rebuilding that bridge, what a lot of people don't realize is the cost between the Buffalo Road interchange. If you get down to the nitty-gritty without the walkways that they're adding on and what have you, they're very similar to rebuilding the bridge. Very, very similar. A brand new bridge, if you go to build it or rebuild it, the point of it is, it's not going to interfere with anything. It can be done, whereas Buffalo Road interchange, that's going to be more congestion up there. And not only that, but down the road, I keep bringing up, if Franklin Avenue Bridge goes down, Ash is another one. Ash, you never know when that street's going to be open. It's always closed for some reason or another. You end up going over to Parade Street.
And you have the track. It's already an inconvenience to go from the center city to the lower east side. I mean, I traveled that bridge a million times.
Which bridge is that,
The viaduct.
Yeah.
I mean, and to get from the center city of the east side down to the lower east side, you have to go either over Downing or down over Downing or over to Ash. The bridge was very convenient. And the city only paid, correct me if I'm wrong, Cass, 3% of, what the total cost would have been?
5%.
5%? What would that be? Do you guys know? I mean,
It'll run anywhere from roughly 350 if they rebuild approximate to possibly double if they totally put a new bridge in. It would cost the city roughly 700. That's where the figures come out. It would be between 10 and 19 cents
Right.
per person.
Go ahead, caller.
Hi,
Yes,
how are you guys doing today?
good.
That gentleman right there in the middle is a very good speaker. I enjoy him very much.
Yes, he's bringing a different insight, and
I just want to say something about the bridge.
go ahead.
If they would build a bar or a couple of saloons up at the top of that bridge, they'd have
That'd make it attraction, right?
we have a
Mayor and the city
bridge
council
party.
and everybody that likes this downtown entertainment and drinking every night of the week would be happy. They'd build a new bridge in a hurry.
Yeah, probably, I said this to this gentleman, for 90 dates a year, that's 1/4 of a year, they build a brand-new subway station in Pittsburgh. At billions of dollars, and,
Right.
they didn't blink an eye on that, because
But all these cities,
it's the mighty Pirates and the Steelers, and it's the same thing in Cleveland, it's the same thing in Buffalo and these towns. If that was a sporting team on the other side of that bridge, you'd have that bridge.
right.
that all these city officials think about is drinking and music and motorcycles and all this stuff downtown, and they don't care about us over here on the east side.
Well, we're going to find out that, I have my feelings on moving the buses off State Street. I think that was a mistake. I think all they're doing now is hiding the problem.
Right.
The parking ramps are getting into, they're having their own little set of problems, and
But Father Cherry put a very big effort out to get this bridge rebuilt.
well, I just had the feeling that,
I think the decision's already been officially made, hasn't it? To not,
No, it's not official yet. This is what they're recommending, but it's going to be up between the state and this administration whether the deal goes one way or the other.
and the state will do whatever, they'll take the least course of resistance.
And then,
Right, and the city has to pay a very small amount, so we don't know what the big problem is. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
the money is already, if they rebuild the bridge, the money is already in the budget. They put, I think it was either 3 or 350,000.
The city.
Already, the city. That was put into that bond issue that they put in there for paving and what have you.
Yeah, I'd like to see the bridge because, it doesn't look like it's going to happen, but
I think the decision was made a long time ago.
Well, the decision as far as the administration was from day one, they were very negative.
go ahead, caller.
Hello. They didn't even say how much the interchange would cost, did they?
Well, yeah, they've had some rough figures.
The interchange and the bridge, rebuilding the bridge were very, very close because what people don't understand is there's walkways that they want to build and they're
Right.
trying to play these figures back and forth.
Covered walkways and,
And when you add them all together, rebuilding the bridge or putting the Buffalo Road interchange in are very, very close. And that particular money is already in the budget. The city already. In fact, we paid this company to come in here $737,000 to make a decision, and these people don't even live in the area, and they're telling us the best way for us to get around. Makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, that's what studies do. Those are, I'm not just talking about this administration, but any government entity. Studies are a way to, throw the public off of them making a decision, any decision, it was according to this study. Oh, so I'm not responsible for it. Oh, okay, well, let's spend $700,000 so you can blame somebody else for a decision you already made. So that's the way. You could have bought a bridge with that.
The beauty part is that 700,000 plus that they paid them, that could have been the total for the city for
Yeah.
putting the bridge in. The bridge could have already been started. If
Why-
you would have had another administration in here, like the days of Tullio and that bridge would already be up there.
Benny Dombrowski was still our East Side
Yes,
Assemblyman.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that would have been,
Absolutely.
Nothing against any of our legislators now, but back then, when those guys were, 3, 4, 5 termers, that stuff wouldn't have happened,
Oh, no way.
I don't like it when they bring outside people in here to study our system and the way we do things and give us recommendations when they don't really live here. They have no interest in what's going, you kind of want, I can understand where you want to bring an outside entity in, but if it's just a smokescreen.
John, we went.
Are you still there, sir?
Are they gonna?
We went to a meeting out in Mill Creek where they're talking about that mill fair. That company that they have working, they have a positive attitude. This company here, it seems from day one, we're not listening to the committee.
Well, you were there because you had to be.
Yeah, I was there at every single meeting. They went by what 90% of the committee suggested.
You were
and
you had to
that
be.
bridge would already be started.
You had to be thrown in the mix just because you had to be there.
Yeah.
How much property will need to be acquired to build that interchange at Buffalo Road?
What's that?
How much property would have to be acquired?
They're not quite sure yet. It may end up taking 1 or 2 buildings, but they're not sure yet.
And that'll be mostly on the west side of.
It would also involve putting another red light down on the bayfront, and it would also possibly involve moving the red light that's up there already. So there's a lot of hidden costs.
You mean
that
the
are involved.
Broad Street one?
No, the one that's right there on Buffalo Road when you come off the bridge, there's a red light
Yeah,
there.
you're right.
They may have to move that, depending whether they have to move any of those buildings on there. They saw that empty space up there where the cul-de-sac is, and right away the brainstorm, you know.
There was only one exit ramp. They're probably, they might even have to reroute East Avenue on the south side of Buffalo Road. There's such a squeeze there. There's really not much room to put in an interchange. And what with Pennsylvania Avenue coming up on the east side of the East Side Connector there to meet Buffalo Road, it's very crowded.
Yeah, oh, it's definitely very crowded. You go over to Broad Street right now, it's terrible. The traffic in that, it's backed up all the time.
And that grade you talked about, you remember the grade used to be around the ballpark at Glenwood?
Yeah,
People would get hung up. I remember when I was at,
exactly.
they'd be sliding off that road and hung up. It was just a nightmare for the city to take care of it all the time.
The simplest thing is, if this administration would just say, hey, we're going to go ahead and this is a positive attitude, just get it done, get it over, give the people what they want, instead of what the administration wants.
Well, on that note, I think we're down to a few seconds.
Yep. You have any closing comments?
Well, from my viewpoint, I think the administration seemed to be just trying to keep, by killing East Avenue, they're trying to keep the crime on the east side, and they think that's going to be easier to manage by the police by keeping most of the crime away from the west side.
Well, the biggest thing too is if you have more traffic going down, you have less crime.
Yes.
But when the
Well, I
place
think
is
they
isolated,
don't care that
you
East Avenue dies. That if they can keep the crime on the east side, then they think it's easier to manage.
Well, what's going to happen with a atmosphere like exists down there now? You'll probably see nuisance bars and things like that.
Sure.
Yeah, they
well,
were.
not only that, but when you take the safety factor, the fire truck, engine number 8, can scoot over that bridge much quicker than trying to navigate around the bayfront. And the bayfront isn't bad for what it was intended, but it runs at a 45-degree angle. It's not a north-south, so it really does foul up a lot of neighborhoods.
And last night you had a terrible accident on there.
The businesses won't benefit from the Bayfront Highway over there.
No.
Let's be real.
Anytime you put a highway, it's a proven fact, even when like you go through Cleveland, you know, you go into the ballpark, go to Pittsburgh, you don't see anything on the side. They're down below off on the, you know, usually what they do is they actually work in detriment. Because now you don't have a flow. You have little communities that are locked out.
Right. Well, that's again what I said earlier, is that's why your motels and that on your secondary roads all closed up. And that's what they're doing to this east side. They're making it worse for the people moving in and out and businesses. They say they want to make it convenient, but it sure isn't convenient.
Well, on that note, we might as well end the show because we're probably off the air by now.
Very good guest today. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I have to announce that, John, like I say, I probably won't be here next week. If you like, you can run it.
I'll try. I'll see what maybe I can get a guest or see if I can.
Yeah, I have some that I just couldn't get out of.
I've been kind of busy, but, you know, if anybody's interested, give us a call out there at 806-3876. Find out some information about the new senior center that's going on out here in Mill Creek and Erie County. So if you're a resident of the city, as I am, hopefully we'll see you out there too. So and with that, I think we're done.
Yep.
Thanks for coming in. Where's that great music at? There it is. Love it.
Gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.